So, folks, Manchester City 1. Manchester United, God's own team 2. Yes, it's not me crowing, it really isn't. Good grief, after the season that we've had, you can't do that just yet. And I've got to say, we were lucky in the end. But what I will say is this. We worked really hard from 1 to 11. Not that they're the number 1 to 11 anymore, but we worked hard as a team. And that's what was needed. One worked harder than the rest. He was man of the match. He got 2 goals. He got a goal. He created another goal. He could have got more. Played really well, young AMAD. More about him in a moment. But thoughts on yesterday? Well, the first thoughts of the team when it was first announced, I thought maybe not. I'm still not sure about Mount, but Amorim likes him, so you've got to go with what old Ruben says. Unfortunate early injury, but the big talking point was without doubt the 2 players dropped. Rashford and Garnacho. They had a big chat about it on Jim's show this morning on TalkSport. For those that follow the channel, have heard me on there before. I nearly rang up myself, but I was too busy. I just couldn't get to a phone, but I was close. I thought he did the right thing. Not so much dropping them, but dropping them completely from the squad. I'm on the same page as him with everything he said, pre-match and post-match. Absolutely fantastic. I love the idea that he said next game, a game after, can be totally different. It's all about what they do and how they are this week. Some of the things he said there were really, really telling. He's virtually saying they may not be training as well as some others or as well as they can. He's mentioning dress sense of being slovenly. It ain't good. He's mentioning getting on with other players within the squad. I think what you've got there, folks, I think you've got a couple of I-ams. You've definitely got one in old Marcus. I'm hoping he can turn around. I mean, Simon Jordan said something probably spot on today. It's all well and good everybody said he needs to go. I've said it myself on more than one occasion. But how would United be if they could turn him around into the player that he was and looked like he was going to become? They'd be much, much better off. You'd rather a fit, firing, and hungry Marcus Rashford in the team than against you. You really would. I just think he's gone that far now. I don't think he can be turned around. The only way you can turn him around is if he realises the error of his ways and wants to be turned. I'm not sure he's for turning, or not at our club anyway. I'd love to be proved wrong. It isn't for me just his demeanour and his attitude, although they need improving. It's his work rate. His work rate is really abysmal, as is Garnacho's. I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks now, especially about Rashford, but also about Garnacho. They just don't put a shift in. When you try to play this pressing game, which we tried to play under Ten Hag and now under Amorim, some players play it, some players feel comfortable playing it, and some people just run themselves into the ground. Whereas others make the odd dirty run now and again to make it look like they care, but they only do it now and again. And often when they get to the end of that run and there's a tackle to be made there or a ball to be fought for, they pull out or they go in half-heartedly. Step up Rashford and Garnacho, they do it all the time. I mean, there's talk now in the game about brain injury, dementia further down the line from Edding. We've got no worries on that score with our team because nobody will put the head to the ball. I mean, I see forwards all the time running towards the ball and thinking, I'm not going to jump, I'm not as tall as you, or it won't come to me, or I just don't fancy it. We never compete in the air for anything in forward positions, we just don't do it. But work rate, I think it comes from your main man. Your main man or two in the team. If they work hard and run hard all the time, others follow. And our problem is at the moment, for all Bruno is the captain, I think even more than him, Rashford is the one that these young uns look up to. He's been at the club for longer. He's a bit of a cult hero. At a time was talked about as being a world beater. He never ever reached that. He could. But again, it doesn't look like he's going to do it at our club. And I think if he doesn't play hard, if he doesn't work hard, I think others follow. And I think Garnacho's a prime example. And when them two are playing 2 of the 3 positions up front and not putting a shift in, it affects the whole team. Yesterday, people put a shift in and that's what mattered. Now I'm going to, folks, this time I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because nobody else will. If you watch some of my earlier videos, you'll say what I'm going to tell you now is spot on. I was calling for Diallo probably 3 or 4 months ago when he's making 5 and 10 minute cameos. What I was saying in them 5 or 10 minutes was, number 1, he was working really hard. When I say really hard, he never ever ever stopped running. He competed for every ball. He's only a little fellow, but he put his body on the line to compete for balls. He wasn't wasteful with the ball, and he plays with his head up, and he tries to make everything progressive. He tries to make forward movement, forward passes, rather than back passes and square passes. He's always trying to move the ball forward, but he's always got his head up looking for a pass, and I like that. I like everything about him, and I was saying he's just not getting enough time. For many a time I see him for 10 or 15 minutes, I'm thinking, well, he's doing more in that 10 or 15 minutes than Rashford or Garnacho were often doing in the whole of the game. Same with Anthony. I was saying for me, you'd have Garnacho on one side, Rasmus through the middle, and Diallo on the other. Rashford wouldn't get in, and Anthony certainly wouldn't get in. And then it was up to Rashford to contest with Garnacho or with Højlund. Because I just wasn't seeing those two working. Whereas AMAD, he just works his socks off. And that's what you had. That was your contrast yesterday. You had two players sat at home who don't work, and one player playing 80, 85 minutes there, 90 minutes that just never stopped working, and that was Diallo. And in the end, he got his reward. What with the penalty decision and with the goal. Just fantastic. Thought it was great. So yesterday, fantastic win. Were we brilliant? No, we weren't. Were we good? Yeah, in our own way, not so bad. Did we work hard? Yeah, we really, really did. Was City brilliant? No, nowhere near. Were they anywhere near the best? No, nowhere near. But we still beat them. And we don't beat the big teams anymore. We've not done for years. We very rarely do. It's a step in the right direction. And the coach, the manager, has made a point. He's dropped two of the leading lights in the team completely from the squad, sat them at home, and gone out and won a derby. You can't argue with that. So all in all, it was a great day. A really great day. Let's just hope we can build on it. Let's hope that folk buy in. And I'd bring Rashford and Garnacho back, but I'd say, see what Diallo does there. You play like him. You run at everything. You compete for everything. You play with your head up, and you get the ball forward, and you look for a better option than you, and then you run into space. And that's the way we're going to do it from now on. And if you're prepared to do that, you're going to get in the team, and if not, you're not. And if you're constantly not doing it, you're going to be down the road. Whoever you are, whatever you're worth, you're going to be down the road. Because I want 11 players every week that are going to compete. But good result. Good result. City are poor. Yeah, they're poor. But I was worried yesterday they'd up the game and win because it's a derby. Luckily, it didn't happen. And then that takes me to the last one. Just a quick thought on Onana again. I mean, nothing too bad yesterday, but again, another goal letting in the week, with this stupid passing along the back. I mean, he's supposed to be great with his feet, but how many times does he play it? Either a pass short to a defender, or play to a defender when there's no real pass on. And often the defender's got his back to them because he's not expecting it, because he knows there's no pass on. And Onana somehow sees a pass that isn't there, sees it regularly. At this moment in time, I would suggest he's making one horrific mistake, if not once a game, once every 2 games. And at this moment in time, we've probably only lost 2, maybe 3 goals this season, but it could be a hell of a lot more, and it shouldn't even be 2 or 3 goals. Why on earth he keeps doing it is beyond me. If Amarin's as good as I think he's going to be, surely he's going to stop it. If the backline can't get it right, with the goalie can't all get in sync, he should just be saying, as I said the other week, get the ball upfield, just get the ball upfield. We're not doing well enough playing along the back. That's one massive problem, is playing along the back line is really, really poor. We're putting ourselves under pressure. The other thing is set pieces and corners. Really, really poor. He needs to address both. Neville and the like are talking all the time about set pieces and corners. Nobody's talking about these passes along the back line and how poor Onana is. If he can't do it, tell him not to do it. It's just crazy. You're giving away massive chances and silly goals for no reason whatsoever. But again, yesterday, was I happy? Of course I was. 100% happy. Do I want Rashford and Garnacho back? Of course I do. If they toe the line and if they work. If they're prepared to run the socks off on a weekly basis or game basis, I don't want them gone anywhere. But if they don't want to put a shift in, just get rid. That applies to everybody in the squad that won't sing off that same hymn sheet, that won't put a shift in. Just get rid. Pick people that will. Pick a team that want to work. We've seen it working for City and Liverpool these last few years. It needs to work for us. It can only work for us if everybody buys into it and everybody's accountable. I think Cameron sort of made them that way yesterday. That was a huge, huge statement and not before time. Really, really good to see. Had we have even lost yesterday, I'd have still been behind him with his decision. I thought it was wonderful. I just couldn't believe it when they weren't on the bench, because I was in the lineups before I heard what he had to say. I couldn't believe it at all. And I thought, good for you. Very, very good. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. 2-1. It's a 2-1. It's a derby win. We'll take that every week of the year. No problem at all.